Get your daily news fix. From newsworthy's latest edition. March 31st, 2025. Get your daily news fix. Get your daily news fix. From newsworthy's latest edition. March 31st, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Top songs on YouTube music charts, global edition from March 21st to March 27th, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. 4. Like Jenny by Jenny. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, March 21st to Thursday, March 27th, 2025, features the following tracks. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga, APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and Anxiety by Doeki. Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of March 31st, 2025. Minecraft, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Definitive Edition, and Stardew Valley. Steam's most popular games. Featuring the leading titles in sales and player engagement on the platform. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products, for the period from Tuesday, March 18, 2025, to Tuesday, March 25, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, REPO, Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA has issued a detailed report on the resurge malware, which is linked to the Ivanti Connect secure system. One more drop in the ocean of AI. ByteDance introduces Mega TTS 3, a remarkable addition. This text-to-speech (TTS) system is characterized by its lightweight and efficient design, with the core TTS diffusion transformer containing a mere 0.45 billion parameters. It excels in producing ultra-high-quality voice clones, as demonstrated in the video provided below. Additionally, the performance of recent TTS models on the seed test sets is detailed in the accompanying table. Mega TTS 3 offers bilingual capabilities, accommodating both Chinese and English, and includes the ability to switch between languages. It also provides control over accent intensity and, in the near future, will allow for precise adjustments to pronunciation and duration. The University of Michigan has shut down its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion (DEI) office, terminating a significant financial investment in diversity initiatives. This decision comes amid reports that billions of dollars in federal funding could be jeopardized as President Trump calls for U.S. universities to adhere to his directives. Additionally, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, chair has initiated an investigation into the Walt Disney Company regarding its DEI programs. Furthermore, the U.S. government has mandated that French companies comply with Trump's diversity restrictions. Crisis presents an opportunity. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni aims to establish Italy as a key link between the United States and Europe, dismissing the notion of having to choose between Donald Trump and European interests. Meanwhile, France sees the European military's actions in Ukraine as a testing ground for a NATO that might emerge after Trump's era. Additionally, Finland's President Sauli Niinistö engaged in a golf game with Trump, during which they talked about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Axios reports that the Trump team is reassuring the public by emphasizing that tax cuts will soon arrive, so there's no need to worry about rising prices. Trump himself has expressed indifference to potential increases in auto prices due to tariffs and is reportedly urging his aides to implement even more significant tariffs as an important deadline approaches. Meanwhile, a CBS News poll indicates that Americans are more concerned about Trump focusing on prices rather than tariffs, although a majority do support his deportation efforts. Additionally, Brazil's President Lula has stated that he intends to engage in negotiations regarding tariffs before considering any retaliatory actions. SpaceX astronauts are set to attempt cultivating the inaugural mushrooms in space during the forthcoming Fram-2 mission, which will orbit over Earth's poles. Meanwhile, an explorer from Vancouver is reaching out to Trump for approval to extract metals from the Pacific Ocean floor. Additionally, a report indicates that U.S. scientists have experienced a loss of $3 billion in NIH grants since Trump assumed office. A Chinese scientist who faced exclusion due to his involvement in gene-edited babies is now aiming to make a return. Recent research indicates that the majority of early Europeans possessed dark skin, eyes, and hair until approximately 3,000 years ago. An ancient parasite employed a mechanism similar to that of a Venus flytrap to deposit eggs in its hosts. J.D. Vance acknowledges that he initially didn't fully understand Trump's motivation for wanting Greenland. However, Vance argues that the United States needs to have control over Greenland to counter the threats posed by China and Russia. He suggests that Greenland should consider making an agreement with the U.S. Meanwhile, Putin dismisses Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland, stating it has no relevance to Russia. Vance also criticizes Denmark for not investing enough in Greenland, as Trump continues to advocate for the U.S. to take over the island. In response to Trump's pressure, Greenland's political parties have formed a wide-ranging coalition government. Trump confidently asserts to NBC News that the U.S. will definitely acquire Greenland, saying, "We'll get Greenland. Yeah, 100%. Chinese authorities have temporarily suspended the sale of Panama Canal ports. Pentagon official Hegseth has announced that the U.S. military presence in Japan, described as warrior, is being enhanced to serve as a deterrent against China, emphasizing Japan's crucial role in this strategy. Meanwhile, Greenland's prime minister has stated that the U.S. will not acquire the island. Axios has announced that the White House will now manage the seating arrangement in the briefing room. Additionally, White House correspondents have dismissed a comedian for making offensive remarks about MAGA on the Beast podcast. Meanwhile, Mike Huckabee, whom Trump has chosen as the ambassador to Israel, is attempting to separate himself from his previous statements regarding Palestinians. The Hill has criticized Huckabee, suggesting that his extreme views could lead to chaos in the Middle East. A supercomputer has revealed the chaotic nature of hypersonic flows at Mach 16. In Beijing, a new X-ray light source has been constructed, boasting a brightness 1 trillion times greater than the sun. Additionally, a method has been developed to generate power by harnessing Earth's movement through its own magnetic field. Turkey has detained a Swedish journalist on charges of insulting the president and terrorism. In the United States, private organizations are actively identifying and reporting student protesters, potentially leading to their deportation. Additionally, it has been reported that hundreds of international students received an email instructing them to self-deport due to their involvement in campus activism. In a confidential meeting, Vance and his leading advisors proposed that Trump remove Waltz, but Trump is reportedly reluctant to dismiss Waltz or others implicated in the Signal chat leak, according to officials. Meanwhile, Trump has mentioned he is contemplating options for a third presidential term, although he stated he doesn't wish to discuss it at present, despite numerous people urging him to run. Additionally, Axios has reported that Trump plans to visit Saudi Arabia in May, marking his first international trip, as indicated by sources. Novo Nordisk's diabetes medication has been shown to reduce the risk of cardiovascular issues by 14% over a 4-year period. Additionally, the newest Alzheimer's treatments have the potential to extend patients' years of independence. Furthermore, a study indicates that lifestyle choices have a greater influence on lifespan than genetic factors. The Academy has issued an apology for not providing sufficient support to the Oscar-winning Palestinian director. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu plans to visit Hungary, despite an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Additionally, Iran has declined to engage in direct nuclear negotiations with former President Trump but remains open to indirect discussions, following Trump's previous warning to Iran that there will be bombing if Tehran rejects U.S. nuclear talks. The UK regulatory body plans to begin granting licenses to cryptocurrency companies by the year 2026. Meanwhile, in the United States, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has concluded its investigation into Crypto.com without taking any further action. Additionally, a report suggests that Japan is considering reclassifying cryptocurrency as a financial product in an effort to reduce insider trading. A record-breaking number of 736,000 sandhill cranes have gathered in Nebraska during the peak of spring migration, and there are no indications of bird flu, despite previous worries. In China, researchers are employing laser drones to accurately count the nation's vast population of trees, totaling 142.6 billion. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, rice farmers are demonstrating against what they perceive as misguided regulations that are contributing to rice shortages. Samsung Electronics has introduced its AI home concept, featuring enhanced artificial intelligence and improved screens in a variety of new product lines. Meanwhile, Google has ceased manufacturing the Nest Protect and the Nest X Shale lock. Additionally, China's supersonic jet, the C-949, aims to achieve a 50% increase in range compared to the Concorde and produce 95% less noise. Split Fiction secures its spot in gaming history by achieving 3 world records. Korea's Krafton is challenging the 25-year dominance of The Sims. Nintendo is reportedly planning a Zelda movie trilogy, with filming planned for New Zealand. A significant breach in Oracle Cloud has led to the exposure of over 6 million records, potentially endangering more than 140,000 tenants. Additionally, 1.5 million private photographs from LGBTQ+, BDSM, and sugar dating applications have been compromised. The HTTPS certificate industry has implemented new security measures, including multi-perspective issuance corroboration and linting. RFK Jr. has compelled Peter Marks, a leading vaccine official, to resign. In his resignation letter, Marks refutes Kennedy's falsehoods. Additionally, RFK Jr. is anticipated to dismiss the entire staff of the Office of Infectious Disease and HIV/AIDS Policy. Meanwhile, there are reports that DOJ is advocating for businesses to manage government services to the greatest extent feasible. STAT has expressed that, noting that the removal of FDA's Peter Marks has alarmed the biopharma industry, which regarded him as a supporter. Michael Mann has submitted his script for Heat 2 to Warner Bros. The Lumen Terminal Pro computer has been featured on Apple's website. Venice has announced it will be the venue for Bezos' wedding and has refuted claims of potential disruptions to the city. The Frick Collection in New York City is set to reopen following a significant renovation costing $330 million. A collection of previously unseen paintings by the renowned kitsch artist Thomas Kincaid has been revealed. The upcoming film Ne 2 is expected to boost global box office projections for 2025 to a total of $34 billion. China's 4 leading state-owned banks are planning to generate $72 billion through stock sales to enhance their capital reserves. Additionally, Google has reached a settlement of $100 million in a lawsuit concerning advertisers who were overcharged. Meanwhile, the first orbital rocket launched from mainland Europe experienced a crash shortly after it took off. Xpeng predicts that the robotics industry will surpass the automotive sector in size within the next few years. Xpeng is making a significant investment of $413 million in a new factory located in Guangzhou, focusing on the development of flying cars. Meanwhile, SoftBank Group is considering a massive $1 trillion initiative in the United States to establish industrial parks dedicated to AI robots. Additionally, DeepSeek has increased the confidence of wealthy Chinese investors in technology stocks, according to a banker from Standard Chartered. A letter from the industry warns that more than $13 billion in investments in solar and wind energy projects in Vietnam could be jeopardized. Meanwhile, Japan is planning to allocate an unprecedented $133 billion to enhance its resilience against earthquakes. Additionally, as the global climate warms, changes in cloud patterns are contributing to increased uncertainty about climate conditions. Authorities in London have detained individuals responsible for organizing a protest related to Gaza at the Quaker House. Meanwhile, Haaretz has published an article discussing the situation in Gaza, where it claims that nearly every unit of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, employs Palestinian individuals as human shields, likening them to a sub-army of forced laborers. Additionally, reports have emerged of the discovery of the bodies of aid workers who were previously missing, found in a mass grave in Gaza following Israeli military operations. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, has withdrawn its previous guidance regarding banks and cryptocurrency, indicating that banks are now permitted to participate in cryptocurrency activities without needing prior approval. Additionally, FTX is set to commence $11.4 billion in creditor payouts in May, following a prolonged bankruptcy process. Furthermore, former President Donald Trump has granted pardons to 3 co-founders of the BitMEX cryptocurrency exchange and a former employee. A groundbreaking study has successfully blocked cancer's master switch permanently. In another significant development, artificial intelligence has demonstrated the ability to match pathologists in the diagnosis of celiac disease. Additionally, a recent study has revealed that PFAS chemicals are present in the drinking water of nearly half of the American population. The leaders of Harvard's Middle Eastern Studies Center are set to depart. According to an AP report, Israeli settlers were captured on video attacking a Palestinian village, yet only Palestinians were apprehended by the police. Additionally, CARE has criticized Secretary Hegseth's Kafir tattoo, labeling it as indicative of both anti-Muslim hostility and personal insecurity. AI specialists argue that our current approach is misguided in the quest to develop artificial intelligence that closely resembles human capabilities. Meanwhile, Wired reports that OpenAI's Sora is facing significant issues with biases, including sexism, racism, and ableism. Additionally, Apple is preparing to introduce a virtual healthcare assistant through Project Mulberry as it accelerates its efforts to enhance AI-driven health services. During the Trump administration, businesses are altering the branding of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives rather than abandoning them. In the United States, the Naval Academy is making moves to eliminate diversity policies related to books and admissions. Meanwhile, Columbia University's president has been replaced amid threats from Trump concerning the university's funding. TSMC, Intel, and other leading chip manufacturers are reducing the pace of their expansion efforts in Japan and Malaysia. Meanwhile, the New York Times highlights that India is experiencing a significant hiring surge, which remains unaffected by Trump's tariffs. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal covers a conflict between Apple and Elon Musk regarding their satellite expansion strategies. Private equity firm Clearlake is set to acquire Dun & Bradstreet, a company specializing in business decisioning data and analytics, for a total of $4.1 billion in cash. Additionally, Reuters has reported that Blackstone is considering taking a small ownership stake in a US-based spin-off of TikTok, according to sources. Furthermore, Elon Musk has announced that he has sold X to his AI company, valuing the transaction at $33 billion. Financial Times notes that brands are spending minimal amounts on X advertisements to maintain Elon Musk's satisfaction. The Wall Street Journal reports that attempts to eliminate fake users for online advertisers have been unsuccessful, and DoubleVerify has responded to the Wall Street Journal's fact-checking and analytics report, acknowledging that both Analytics and the Wall Street Journal recognize that the report's premise and conclusions lack factual support. Additionally, YouTube has disabled ad revenue for channels featuring fake movie trailers following an investigation by Deadline. In the United States, companies like Uber and DoorDash are advocating for a policy that would exempt tips from taxation, specifically benefiting their drivers. Meanwhile, in Bangladesh, individuals known as remittance warriors have successfully sent a record amount of $3 billion back to their country. Additionally, a poll conducted in the United Kingdom reveals that young people are more concerned about work and financial issues than they are about cultural conflicts or climate change. In the United States, far-right influencers are organizing a matchmaking event with a participation fee of $10,000 per person, aiming to increase the global population. Additionally, former President Trump has withdrawn research funding intended to safeguard pregnant women from domestic violence, citing concerns related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Furthermore, a report indicates that Mike Waltz utilized the Signal messaging app for more confidential national security discussions. It is also reported that passwords and other sensitive information from high-ranking Trump officials have been discovered circulating online after a Signal leak. Trump is taking steps to remove unionization rights for the majority of federal employees. Meanwhile, in the United States, states are quickly employing federal workers who have been laid off due to DOGE-related budget cuts. Additionally, Elon Musk has stated that Trump will target individuals who are spreading falsehoods about Tesla. Frances Marine Le Pen has been found guilty in a European Union embezzlement case, which could jeopardize her chances in the 2027 presidential election. Additionally, she has been disqualified from holding office for a period of 5 years due to her conviction for corruption. In another development, law enforcement in Portugal successfully stopped a submarine that was attempting to cross the Atlantic Ocean with a significant amount of cocaine, weighing 6.5 tons. Meanwhile, an Indian court has declared Google's billing policy to be anti-competitive. Russia and the United States are in discussions regarding projects related to rare earth metals, according to an envoy from Putin. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, expressing frustration with Vladimir Putin, has threatened to impose tariffs on Russian oil if Moscow obstructs a deal concerning Ukraine. Additionally, Trump mentioned that he had a highly productive conversation with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, during which they reached agreements on numerous issues. Pakistan intends to deport 3 million Afghan individuals this year. In the United States, numerous individuals who have been granted parole have received an email from the government advising them to leave the country immediately. A study involving Lyft drivers has uncovered instances of racial profiling by law enforcement officers. A tsunami alert has been declared following a 7.1 magnitude earthquake that struck close to Tonga. In Myanmar, a strong earthquake caused damage to over 60 historic pagodas and structures, among them the Maha Mayat Muni Pagoda. Meanwhile, in the United States, severe storms have resulted in tornadoes and hail the size of golf balls, extending from the Great Lakes region to Texas. The New York Times highlights the increasing violence and viral spread of activities by online individuals who claim to hunt pedophiles. Additionally, the White House is experiencing criticism for using an image inspired by Studio Ghibli to depict a person convicted of dealing fentanyl. Furthermore, a reward in the form of a meme coin is being offered for information leading to the location of Joe Low, the mastermind behind the 1M